In our birthday countdown project, we use the modulo and the floor division operator to convert the total seconds left, which we got from the time delta object, into say seconds, minutes, and hours. This code is here. We have discussed this elsewhere. As you also know, we could use the divmod method for doing both of these a little bit more concisely. But there may be a question in your mind that, when I printed this DD, in fact, this information was a lot more readily available to me. This, for example, 46,316 seconds, I knew right from here that it's 12 hours, 51 minutes, 56 seconds. I did not have to do all this to find this. So the question is, can I somehow use a different method to extract this information? And that's exactly what we're going to show you in this video. What we will do is to use string methods to extract this information. So what I'm going to do here, so note dd is the time delta object. What I'm going to do is to convert this to say a string. So I just do that by saying strdd. Remember, string means that now if I look at dd str, it's a collection of characters. You can see there are inverted quotes. Now I'm going to first split this because I'm really interested in seeing, for example, I know the number of days is 58. That actually I could have got from here directly, dd.days. But let's say I split this with a space, in between. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to just call it, say, dd. Let's just call it dd1, for example. And I'm just going to say dd underscore str dot split and with a space bar. Now, what I am doing here really is that I'm telling the interpreter, hey, look, this is a string. I wanted to split this and give me back a list. So when I do this, look at what is dd1. dd1 is basically a list of strings, and it has split basically. For example, with respect to wherever it found space, it kind of took these elements and split it out. Now, really, days, I don't need to bother to get from here because I could directly get dd.days. That gives me. But now I'm more interested in this particular string. So I'm going to look at the last element of this string, and I'm going to do a further split. Now this time round, notice that I can get the split by saying, okay, let me just get the last element. So let's just say dd last, for example, just for the sake of it. I can say it's dd1. Now I want to get the last element of this list. The most concise way of indexing this is -1. So if I do this, that is the last element. So now dd last, which is also a string, is here. Now notice I can very clearly see that if I were to split this, let's say dd, I call it dd2, careful here, I said dd underscore last dot split, and I'm going to split it with this colon character because that is what will give me 12, 51 and 56 point something. So if I did that, now if you look at dd2, that is a list. So I can now see that hours left, I can say I can say int of say dd2 0, because here what I'm getting is the first element of this list. Now remember, these are all all strings, and dd2 is a list. So I'm just going to get the first element, which is dd0, and convert that to string. So that is hours left. Minutes left, which is what I had been doing earlier. I will do the same exact thing. I'm going to say int, say dd2, and this time around I'll put a 1 here because I want the second element now. That is minutes left. And now to get the seconds, I will do something very similar to what I had done. So let's just use the same variable dd last. That's okay. So I can just say dd2, and again I want to get the last element of this list. So I go and put a -1 over here. Now if you look at dd last, it is something point something, which is a string. Remember, this, though it looks like a floating point number, but it's not. In fact, it's a string. You can do type dd last, that will be a string. You can see that's a string. Now if I were to split this dd last, so let's call it, let's say dd 3, for example, I can just go and say dd underscore last dot split, and this time round I'll split it with a dot as the the splitting character. So what it will do is that it will create me two lists. If you look at dd3, it's a list whose characters are 56, the one that came before this dot and the one that came after that. And now you can clearly see the seconds, seconds left is equal to, I can convert to integer, and I can just say, okay, look, seconds left is given by int of dd3 and the first element of it, and hence I must put a 0. Now, like I said, I'm not putting this in code, but you can clearly see that I've got the values that I wanted. So hours left is 12, mins left is 51, seconds left is 56. In fact, that's exactly what I wanted. Now, if you want, you can replace this code with all the string manipulations. You can write it a bit more neatly, but notice how we are using the string and list indexing, string splitting and list indexing to get the same values. I hope you found this interesting. Take care. Thank you so much. Bye bye.